Итак, всем здравствуйте, с вами Алексей, и я продолжаю читать Kiss Before Dying, то есть, вот, здесь закончили. If he didn't marry her by Friday afternoon, she would become suspicious. She would write to her sister Ellen and tell her about the baby. Then he'd have to leave college and move to another state. And that wasn't the future that he'd planned for himself. But he wasn't going to live in a trailer with a wife that he didn't love and a noisy, smelly baby. Dorothy would have to die before Friday afternoon. The next day was Wednesday. All morning, the handsome young man worried about his problem. He found the solution during the last class of the afternoon. The last class was Spanish. The students were studying a romantic novel called La Queja de las Flores Negras. The young man hated the book, but while he was trying to translate a passage from the novel, he found the solution to his problem, and as soon as he found it, he was very happy. When the Spanish class ended, he met Dorothy by the pharmacy laboratory and he took her to a movie. After that, they went to a restaurant. They had coffee and cheeseburgers. Dorothy, the young man said, as she finished her coffee, will you lend me the photo that I gave you? I want to get a copy of it for my mother. Dorothy opened her purse and took out a small photograph of the handsome young man. The words "To Dorothy with all my love" were written across the bottom of it. She gave it to him. "I'll give it back to you next week," he said. "Oh, but please take care of it," she replied. "I want to keep it forever." When they left the restaurant, the young man took her back to his room and made love with her. He felt sorry for her. This was only the second time that they had made love, but it would be the last time too. As soon as she had gone back to her dormitory, the young man burned the photo. He didn't want the police to find anything that connected him with Dorothy. The young man's first class on Thursday was economics. Dorothy was a student in this class too. She came into the room as the lecturer was starting to speak. She sat next to the young man and she smiled at him happily. The young man wrote some words on a page of his notebook. He showed them to Dorothy. "Please take notes for me. I have to finish some Spanish translation for my class this afternoon." Then for 20 minutes he pretended to write a translation of a passage from La Casa de las Flores Negras in his notebook. At the end of the time he stopped writing and he looked very puzzled for a minute. Then the young man tore a small piece of paper from his notebook. He quickly drew a picture of Dorothy on one side of it. Then he turned it over. On the other side there were some words. Can you help me? I don't understand this. Querido espero que mi perdonares por la infelicidad que yo. No hay ninguna otra cosa que puedo Cesar. Никак. He passed the piece of paper to Dorothy. She read the word quickly. Then she turned the paper over. She was going to write the translation on the back, but she saw the drawing and she smiled. She turned to a new page in her one notebook and wrote the translation on that. She tore the page from the book and passed it to the young man, and as he read it, he knew that everything was going to be ok. Darling, I hope that you will forgive me for the unhappiness that I will bring to you. There is nothing else that I can do. Now he had Dorothy's. Сейчас. Как бы не ошибиться.
Suicide.
Suicide. Suicide note. During the afternoon, the young man went to a room on the campus where there were several typewriters. Any standard student could use this. He typed an address on one of his white envelopes. Miss Evan Kingship, North Dormitory, Caldwell College, Caldwell, Wisconsin. She tore the page from the book and pasted it to the young man. The young man met Dorothy after his last class of the afternoon. I've just talked to my friend. The friend who как, блин, who's
Whose
whose whose uncle owns the drugstore. He began he told me that he gave me the wrong pills on Monday. The young man took an envelope from his pocket. These are the right ones, he said. You must take them tonight. But I don't want to take any more pills. Dorothy said nervously, I want to get married tomorrow. Dorothy, listen to me. The young man said, if we have this baby now, it will grow up in a trailer. It will have a bad start in life because its parents will be poor. Please, take the pills, Dorothy. We'll get married soon anyway, but I want to meet your father first. Then we'll have some money. We won't have to live in a trailer. We can live in a real house. We'll be so happy. And we can have a baby next year, darling. No, Dorothy said miserably. She started to cry. No, no. Dorothy, please. Do this for me, the young man said, putting his arms around her. I know that you want the baby, but you're only thinking about yourself. You aren't thinking about me or the child. Don't give your first child a bad start in life. Suddenly his voice was cold. If you won't take the pills, Dorothy, I won't marry you. You'll have to ask your father for help. What will he say? They talked for half an hour. Finally, Dorothy took the envelope from him. Take the pills at about 10 o'clock this evening, the young man said. If these pills don't work, I'll marry you tomorrow afternoon. I promise you that. Then he held her hand for a moment and she left her. Slowly and steadily, she walked towards her dormitory. At a quarter after 10 that night, the handsome young man went to a telephone booth in the street near his room. He found Dorothy's room at the dormitory. "Did you take the pills?" he asked her. "Yes," she said. "I took them at 10 o'clock." "Thank you, darling," he said. "My friend said that you will probably feel some pain half an hour after you've taken them. You mustn't worry about it. Don't tell anybody. The pain will soon go. You'll be ok in the morning. Good night, darling. I'll see you tomorrow." "Good night," she replied. "I love you." The young man put Dorothy's translation from La Casa de los Flores Negras into the envelope with her sister Ellen's address on the front. Then he dropped the envelope into a mailbox. He smiled as he walked back to his room. Chapter 4. The Municipal Building. The handsome young man was early for his first class on Friday morning. The philosophy lecturer hadn't arrived yet. Three girls were talking in a corner of the room. They were excited about something, and the young man was worried. Were they talking about Dorothy? Had somebody found her dead body already? That would be bad. Dorothy's sister Ellen wouldn't get the note until after 3 o'clock that afternoon. If Dorothy's body was found before that, the police would come to the campus and ask all the students in Dorothy's classes questions. The young man had hoped that nobody would start to worry about Dorothy until the evening. As soon as Ellen got the note, she would phone the university office. Then the police would be sure that Dorothy had killed herself when before they went to the dormitory. Then they wouldn't ask questions in her classes. The lecturer arrived and everybody sat down. The handsome young man tried to forget his worries. He tried to listen to the lecturer's words. After a few minutes, he heard the door of the room open and he heard somebody come in. He didn't turn his head, but when somebody sat down next to him, he looked around. Suddenly he wanted to scream. His skin felt cold and he thought that he was going to throw up. Dorothy smiled at him and passed him a piece of paper. He waited a few moments, then he read the words on it. "The new pills didn't work either." "Oh, good," the young man thought desperately. Why did trust her? Продолжим на следующем разучить чтение. Всем спасибо за просмотр. Ставьте лайки, комментируйте. Всем пока, удачи.